Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The coronavirus is spreading across the globe. In Łódź, in central Poland, an Asian woman who recently arrived from China was taken to hospital and put in quarantine after having been found to have a high fever. A similar case has been reported in Gdansk. Although the diagnosis of coronavirus is not yet confirmed, Polish health services are on alert. According to Minister of Health Łukasz Szumowski, Polish health professionals stand ready and expect sooner or later to see cases of coronavirus in Poland. Government spokesman Piotr Müller told Polskie Radio that Poland is working with international partners to curb the spread of the deadly virus.
W tej chwili sytuacja wygląda tak, że wszystkie osoby, które...
The situation is currently under control and those who wish to leave China are eligible to use the air bridge, which together with the US we have made available. The bridge leads from China to the USA and then to Europe. All passengers will be examined for contamination. Polish health services are active at airports. Passengers are monitored for the symptoms, and if symptoms are detected, the passenger is isolated and undergoes an examination to see whether the person is actually infected. We want such people to be safe and to prevent the virus spreading, but these are standard procedures.
Mogłaby być podejrzewana u niego choroba.
The Constitutional Tribunal has today issued its decision in response to the Speaker of the Sejm's request to resolve a dispute between the Sejm, the President and the Supreme Court, that is, the legislative, executive and judicial branches of government. The Constitutional Tribunal decided that the resolution of the combined sitting of the three chambers of the Supreme Court of January 23rd on the disciplining of judges is suspended, pending the final resolution of the matter of competence by the Constitutional Tribunal.
Zarówno pan prezydent Duda, jak i prezydent Kaczyński nie mieli w zasadzie innego wyjścia.
President Duda as well as President Kaczyński had basically no other choice than sign in the proposed candidates by the National Council of the Judiciary at the time, and it was done with essential input from the Supreme Court. If they hadn't done that, they would have been blamed that the people to fill the seats of the Supreme Court judges are not being appointed, that they have vacancies, and the Supreme Court is not able to operate. But neither President Duda nor President Lech Kaczyński had the possibility to select the people to those positions from a pool of candidates. They even had no way to give an opinion about them prior to selection by the National Council of the Judiciary. That is why we wanted to change that, because it was not a democracy in the works, but a judgeocracy. The judges decided who were the appointed candidates to the positions of new judges. It was a co-option. There was no way to be appointed a judge of the Supreme Court in Poland without prior approval from the current Supreme Court. It is just a mutual admiration society. Nobody could get in without being personally recommended, without some personal connection. Otherwise, even a person with highest qualifications had chances close to none, quite frankly.
Żadnych szans nie miał na dobrą sprawę.
As requested by opposition politicians, President Andrzej Duda today met and spent an hour with representatives of various parliamentary groups and clubs. Will these talks help to break the impasse surrounding the judicial reform in Poland? From the Sejm, Alexander Żadziczka has more.
Prezydent na godzinę 17 zaprosił szefów klubów i...
The meeting took place at 5 p.m. and the main subject of the talks was the judicial reform, namely the amendment regarding the disciplining of judges, which is waiting the president's signature. However, there is a lot of skepticism whether a compromise can be reached. Members of the opposition demand a veto from the Polish head of state. Ryszard Terlecki, who took part in the meeting as a representative of the ruling Law and Justice Party, when asked about the possibility of the president's veto, said that he hopes it won't come to that.
Kompromis, no tu głosy są sceptyczne.
Przede wszystkim jest jasne.
First of all, we have one clear demand from the president to veto this damaging amendment. All it takes is for the president to hear the voices of independent experts on the matter. Is our head of state a defender of the constitution or a puppet of the ruling party? It really comes down to this simple choice, either to veto or sign this damaging bill. That's it.
Ostateczny sprawdzian dla prezydenta. Tyle.
Mam nadzieję, że...
I hope it doesn't come to the veto. We will present our views on the matter, and I'm sure Mr. President will listen to all the parliamentary clubs that will participate in the meeting. Obviously, he has the right to talk to all the citizens, also with the opposition.
Z taką prośbą o spotkanie u prezydenta.
Z całą pewnością ważnym elementem.
Today's decision of the Constitutional Tribunal to suspend the resolution of the Supreme Court concerning the disciplining of judges until the dispute over competence comes to an end also bears much significance. The Tribunal set February 25th as the date for the conclusion of the dispute. The Polish Academy of Sciences will organize a special debate on judicial reform on Friday, although Deputy Speaker Terlecki states that there is no need for such discussion, as the decisions were already made by the rightfully elected government.
To inicjatywa profesora Michała Klejbera.
It is already 40 years since the founding of Solidarity in 1980. Best known as the first independent trade union in the Soviet bloc, Solidarity became a broadly based, non-violent, anti-communist social movement, an heir to Poland's past revolutionary movements. At its height, it claimed 9.4 million members and was a significant force behind the fall of communism in Eastern Europe. Although Poland's then communist government tried to destroy the movement by instituting martial law in 1981, following this with years of repression, Solidarity was not crushed and the government was eventually forced to negotiate. Today, a democratic Poland celebrates Solidarity's 40th anniversary.
Radio Solidarność.
Tych Państwa, którzy odbierają naszą audycję bez żadnych trudności, prosimy o trzykrotne wygaszenie i zapalenie świateł.
Determinacja ludzi Solidarności bez broni w
The determination of the members of the Solidarity movement who fought against the communist regime with nothing more than words and non-violent protests is highly admirable. The world owes to them the fall of the Soviet Union. I want to give Mr. Chairman the white and red flag which always accompanied the Solidarity movement and which has become its inseparable symbol. Please accept this flag from the President of Poland.
która jest tak silnie w sensie barw.
Wstępowaliśmy do związku już we wrześniu.
We have entered into the Solidarity Union already in September 1980 and we have been in this union until the present day. We express great appreciation to all those members who are with us all those 40 years, all the good times and bad times. Maybe I ask here in this room who is in the union since 1980.
Roku. Proszę bardzo, panie prezydencie.
Here we go, Mr. President.
To jest wielki szacunek dla tych ludzi.
It is in great admiration and appreciation of all those people as we mark it as a jubilee year and a year of great thanks to all those who are members of Solidarity but chose a different path in life, a different path of a professional career, and yet they still identify themselves with the original values and they support every step of the Solidarity trade union activities.
Z tymi ideałami I wspierają na każdym kroku.
Yesterday, MPs from the Civic Coalition and the left supported the resolution adopted by the Council of Europe to monitor Poland in connection with its alleged violation of the rule of law. This is yet another example of the opposition supporting an anti-Polish policy pursued by external organisations.
140 MPs voted for the resolution, 37 against and 11 abstained. By virtue of this decision, Poland will be the only country in the European Union subject to continuing monitoring in connection with the alleged violation of the rule of law. The MP of the left, Krzysztof Śmiszek, reported the resolution. Step by step, my country was trying to bring back the democratic institutions which were to serve democracy and people, including judges. Unfortunately, we've been witnessing a destruction of democracy for the last 5 years. Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, Moldova, Georgia, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Albania, Armenia and Azerbaijan are the countries included in the monitoring procedure, now also Poland. The Polish delegation, especially delegates from the Civic Platform Party, behaved scandalously. After the scandalous words and attacks on Poland by Russia, we expected that Polish politicians would support Poland. Columnist Krzysztof Karnkowski claims that the matter has nothing to do with the rule of law and that the opposition MPs were used as a tool. The European Union's concept of the rule of law differs from the Polish. I get the impression that the European Union tries to stop Poland from becoming more independent than other member states, and it really doesn't matter if we want to reform our judicial system or the Vistula spit. The Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe has appealed for a revision to the changes in the judicial system by Poland, as well as submitting to the last amendment of the Supreme Court.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the business headlines.